Well, one of the things I think I'd start with was with how we found Burn Allen, which was at a club, well, not the club, but the convention, Illinois State Convention. And we didn't attend his little seminar because we didn't think it was important. But what we did do is we talked to Burn Allen outside as they were packing up and started talking to him. And we'd been investigating fundraising anyway already. And in that fundraising, we found out that a lot of places would come out and help us with fundraising, and they'd teach our board how to do it, but they wouldn't go out and do any of it themselves. They would just teach the board how to do it. And habitats tend to have boards that are working committees. They don't think macro, they think micro, and they're builders, and they just don't do fundraising. That's not what they do. So it's not really a good fit to have a company come in and you spend a lot more money than what we were spending on Bill to teach people who then weren't going to be able to do it anyway, and you weren't going to raise the money. It never seemed like a good fit for us. And the minute we started talking with Burn Allen, we got this different view of how to raise funds for Habitat for Humanity, something that was entirely different, new to us, and it just made sense that they would go out and they would do the calls, but we would have access to all the information. We could go out on the calls with them if we wanted. It has just been a great opportunity for us to move forward and take ourselves in a new direction. When I think about where we were a year ago, we hadn't even had Burn Allen come in officially yet at this time. We had contracted with them to come in. They had done an audit, but we had contracted them. Actually, we hadn't done the audit, right? We had come in, and we contracted them to do an audit, but we never had them really come in to do the feasibility study and talk to us about that. And it kept getting put off by our board because they were a little reluctant to move forward on this. So less than a year ago, we hadn't even talked to them about doing a feasibility study. And from that day that he came in to do the feasibility study, that they came in to do that, until today, we have seen a complete turnaround in our culture. Are we where we need to be? No way. We have a long way to go. But that feasibility study set the stage for where we are now. I mean, we hadn't raised probably $100,000 in the last year or two, other than maybe some individual donations, but nothing big to really move forward on housing. All of a sudden, not only do we have pledged over $850,000, but we have grants coming in at $550,000. We have other things that are happening that are so exciting that's taken us in a new direction. Our board is changing. Our board is starting to think in a more macro manner. We have new board members coming on. This is an exciting time. So if you're an affiliate out there, like I've talked to a couple of affiliates who've asked me, if you do anything, if you're not sure you want to go ahead with them to move forward on the campaign, you at least have to do the feasibility study because it'll change your whole perspective on the way you look at things. We still dig out that feasibility style today when we're looking at marketing or what our plans are moving forward. We look at that every day because there's things in it that are just so rich with which tells us what we need to do to move forward. That feasibility study alone is worth way more than what you have to spend to do it. I tell them it costs a lot of money, but when you compare it to every other fundraiser organization out there, it's no more, and in fact, it's probably less than what other fundraising organizations are charging to do this. And in fact, what happens is that Burn Allen does the work. Other fundraisers come in and advise you, and then they make you go out and do the work. So you're paying them as much or more than you're paying Burn Allen, and you're doing all the work. Now they can say, well, that's good because we're training you how to do it. In fact, it's really kind of bogus because they're not making the ask. What you're getting from other organizations is they tell you to go out and do it, and then they send you out to do it. You never learn how to actually make that ask. You never learn the different things that come up in conversation. If we come up and just did it ourselves, something comes up in conversations, and I've been out with them, and something come up, and I'd be ready to answer one way, and they answer another way, and you go, oh yeah, that's the better answer for this. But if they hadn't been there, I'd have made the wrong answer. I wouldn't have turned it in the right direction. I would have turned it back on an opportunity for us to make money and actually end up with an opportunity to not make any money, to not make the right kind of ask. So having them go out with you makes a difference. Now, is it expensive? Any fundraising is expensive. The feasibility study I thought was an incredible bargain, though, because even if you don't hire them for the rest of the campaign to go forward, the feasibility study gives you a lot of information to move forward. But hiring from the campaign makes the most sense because they've talked to 65 to 80 different businesses, and they're hot. Right then, they know that you're going to come back and talk to them and go forward in the campaign if you move forward on it right away. I guarantee you that depending on where your affiliate is, you could probably build 1 or 2 houses with the money you're going to spend on the campaign. But how would you like to turn money that you would normally spend on 1 or 2 houses into 8 houses a year? That's what they give you. They give you that opportunity to move forward and do 8 houses a year. What we're ending up with is a 4-year plan for 20 houses that before we were lucky to build 1 or 2 houses a year. This is exponential what can happen here, and it moves forward. After they are gone, we will continue to raise money because of what they have taught us to do. It's an exciting proposition to know that you have a company that's willing to help you in the fundraising, but also gets the mission of who you are. Now hear that, Habitat for Humanity affiliates out there, because you're going to work with a lot of fundraising companies that say they get the mission, but they don't. They don't have a clue of understanding what Habitat for Humanity is about. Matter of fact, most people within Habitat for Humanity doesn't have a clue about what Habitat for Humanity is about. And I guarantee you, when you do the feasibility study, you find out most of the people that you're working with, even the people on your board, even the people who give you money, don't understand what Habitat for Humanity is all about. Bern Allen turns all of that around. And if you could go with them, I guarantee you, you're gonna go from a figure that's where maybe 93% of the people in the community don't understand who you are. You're going to get that down to maybe, at least 30% of the people understand. And then if you continue that campaign and keep going and get the message out year after year after year, you're going to get that down, whittle that down. I mean, we've already seen a huge improvement. So go forward, affiliates, and take a look at this organization because they give you an opportunity that you're not going to be able to get from any other fundraiser, I guarantee you. I think Bern Allen completely gets the Christian ministry and gets the Christian emphasis of who we are. As a matter of fact, every call I've been on, we don't hide that. It's in the brochure. It's in the materials they present. I've never seen them not mention that we are a Christian ministry. Whether you're talking to businesses, political people, churches, whatever, everyone, it's emphasized very strongly that we are a Christian ministry. Bern Allen is very good at understanding the Christian mission. As a matter of fact, I don't know how else to say it, but they're believers, so there you go. And I think any board in Habitat for Humanity seems to have a lot of issues, and ours did too. Were we in complete agreement in bringing Bern Allen on? It was to bring them on and do the audit. That was a very close vote, quite honestly. To bring them on to do the feasibility study, once the audit was done, that was a close vote. Bringing him on to the campaign ended up being a unanimous vote, but not without a lot of serious discussion. Because one of the things they got out of this was, one, these guys knew what they were talking about. The questions they asked of the business community when they went out and did this feasibility study were outstanding, and they came back with results that our board understood and saw the strengths and mostly weaknesses of where we were at. Now, what they also saw as part of that is we need to strengthen our board as well. They understood that. And through this process, when you go out and you bring people in who are funding you for $100,000 over 4 years, or $60,000 over 4 years, or $25,000 over 4 years, that these people have a natural buy-in to Habitat for Humanity. They understand the organization. They bought in. They got it. They are now committing it through funding. That means they're also committed to the organization. And some of these folks are great to be board members, and our board needed to expand beyond just a working definition of a board to a macro definition of a board where they're looking at things from a higher picture, from people from more of a funding perspective. And that has happened. We've been able to bring on 5 new board members because of this process for this new year that's coming up. That's exciting, and that was a unanimous vote by our board members to do that. That is one of the side benefits of doing the fundraising as we do it. And that's Burn Allen isn't making that ask. They're not going out and saying, okay, you guys, if you want to be board members, we'll make you board members. I'll make sure that happens for you. They're not doing that. They're doing the ask. They're going out and making the ask for the money, for the funds, for the in-kind donations. But they can come back to us and say, these guys here from this company, they might just be perfect for your board. And then we can go out, and in fact, I could go out and talk with them. And I would go out and make that decision, turn them over to a nominating committee who could talk to them. And now you are strengthening your board in ways that you didn't have the opportunity to do before. If you're like most Habitat affiliates out there, someone walks through the door and they're living and they're breathing and they'd like to become a board member, you say, hallelujah, amen, come on, sit down, brother. Yeah. But that's not the way you do it. This way, we have a process. We have people who've already bought into us just by the fact that they're giving and already have a heart. What happened when I went out to ask some of these people that Burn Allen brought on to fund us, and I went out and asked some of these folks if they would like to be a part of our board, every one of them said, I am honored to be asked. And I say that because I have never, ever had anyone say that to me before. I mean, think about that. I've been with this organization 13 years. I've talked to a lot of people about becoming board members. No one has ever said, I am really honored to be asked that. That's because they really get the mission. Burn Allen has sold them on who we are, what we do. And I keep saying sell, but it's not sell. It's telling the story of who we are, telling the truth about who we are, and getting that message out. And people just lay out and they get that. Are there people who say no? Yeah. But for the most part, people will get it. And even people who don't say yes to coming on as funders aren't saying no. You keep that in mind. That is a long-term list of people you continue to build relationships down the road. What we're building here now is probably 10% of what we could be in 5 years, 6 years if we keep at this.